We're healing New Zealand one spine at a time. Happy Spine.
Welcome back, Happy Spiners. Hey, a question I get a lot in the office, and when do you use ice and when do you use heat? Well, pretty simply, best time to use ice is after an injury. So remember the rice thing where you rest, you ice, you compress, and you elevate things? Well, that's an easy way to remember when you're supposed to use the ice. How long do you use the ice for? Well, obviously that's really going to depend on how serious the injury is. Is it just a minor thing or is it a pretty significant thing? Typical rule of thumb is anywhere from like 24 to 72 hours is how long we use ice for. Truth be told, often if it's kind of serious but not too serious, after the 48-hour mark, you can start the contrast therapy that we'll talk about a little bit later in this video. Okay, before we get started on the ice, a word of warning. If you have a lot of degeneration in an area or arthritis in an area, you're not going to like the ice and you should probably stay away from it. However, if it's a knee or an elbow, there's not a lot of degeneration for most people in those parts, so pretty safe for most people. First step is a moist tea towel on your skin. Just pop that there. Why are we using some moisture there? Well, simply put, we don't want to freeze your skin. I don't want you getting frostbite. The next step, and I've already prepared this. I've got my ice bag in there. I just pop that up here. And I like some nice handles there. It just kind of allows me to hold my body just that much easier, as opposed to slipping and sliding all around. Just get comfortable. Okay, so what do you expect when you're using ice? Well, believe it or not, but when you first put it on, it's going to be cold. And then it's going to kind of burn. And then it's going to kind of be dull and maybe a little achy. And then finally it should start to go numb. The numb feeling is the point that we're looking for. Sometimes that can take up to 10 minutes. Sometimes it can take up to 20 minutes. Don't go more than 20 minutes because that's seriously going to start to cool the skin and the blood vessels down too much. Again, the reason why we're using this ice is to improve the healing and to decrease the inflammation in that area. Now, remember, you can use the ice anywhere from up to 10 to 20 minutes, no more than 20 minutes. You can repeat that, say, once an hour, and you can do that 6 to 8 times in a day. Obviously, the severity of the injury, if you can use ice and you don't have to take as many other things to bring your body's inflammatory response down, ice is a natural thing. It's got to be a good, healthy thing. So when do we use heat? Well, heat's typically for issues that you've had for a long period of time. So say more than 12 weeks. Some people have had it for decades, but a chronic issue is determined by having it for more than 12 weeks. So your muscles are tight, they're typically dull and achy. So by using heat, that's gonna just kind of bring down the pain response there. It's gonna kind of limber things up, help you to become a bit more flexible. So, if we're gonna go for a run or we're gonna do some walking or some movement or something like that, heat's something that we want to use to begin with to kind of warm us up, to limber us up so we can do the activities, so we can do the exercises we want to do. Now, when do you not use heat? So when you put the heat on and the pain feels sharp or the pain goes out, it radiates out, stop using heat. And again, you need to let us know in the office so we can figure out something different. And is this problem more sinister than we originally thought? How do we use heat? Again, a moist tea towel or hand cloth, put the moisture there, and then put the wheat bag on, okay? I always like things that got handles. Now, again, you could use the big towel that we had in the ice thing, but at the end of the day, these things got some nice little handles here for me, and it's nice and easy. Heat, you can use for 20 to 30 minutes. Again, you use it for 20 to 30 minutes, and you give yourself 1 to 2 hour break, and then you can use it again. You can use it 4 or 5 times in the day. It feels good. It relaxes you. Some people like to use it in the evening time and then go to bed. Just kind of helps to relax them so they get a deeper night's sleep. Okay, I want to talk about contrast therapy. What that means is it's I'm using heat and then I'm using ice. Then I'm using heat and I'm using ice. A word of warning, if you have diabetes, if you have blood thinners, if you have neuropathy, you probably know what that if you have it, or obviously if you have any open wounds, contrast therapy is a no-go. Assuming you don't have any of that, what you're going to do is, again, you're going to have your moist flannel on, and then you're going to put some heat on. You're going to put that on for 4 or 5 minutes. Then you're going to take that off, leave your moist flannel on, put your ice on. You're going to put that on for 1 to 2 minutes. And you can cycle that through 3 or 4 times. The benefit is, what we're trying to do is increase blood flow, decrease blood flow, increase it, decrease it. So we're literally using a pumping motion from ice and heat to get that body part healthier so it can heal more naturally. I hope it's helpful. I hope it makes sense. I hope you feel more comfortable. And remember, stand tall, smile, and be well.
We're healing New Zealand one spine at a time. Happy Spine.